MBA എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇന്ത്യ എസ്പെഷ്യലി ഇന്ത്യ ചെയ്യുവാണെങ്കിൽ ടോപ്പ് 40 കോളേജസിൽ MBA ചെയ്യുന്നത് is the most sensible thing that you can do because top 40 there are hundreds of other MBA colleges. ഇപ്പോൾ ഇവിടെ നോക്കുവാണെങ്കിലും കേരളത്തിൽ നോക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ there are hundreds of other MBA colleges, but is it worth doing there? Is it worth ഒരു ഗ്രാജുവേഷൻ കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ഇപ്പോൾ കേരളത്തിലാകുമ്പോൾ ഐ തിങ്ക് ഫീസ് അറൌണ്ട് 5 to 6 lakhs. 5 to 6 lakhs സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഒരു 2 years പിന്നെ again effort at MBA പഠിച്ചിട്ട് the kind of reward that you get from colleges here is not great. So top 40 colleges in India, you can refer to our brochure. I'll send it to you again in the group as well. You can look at the list of colleges, top 40 to top 50 colleges. That is, doing from there is the most reasonable thing. It is what I advise. That is the most rewarding one that you can do. അപ്പോൾ ഈ കോളേജസ് it is all most of them it is full time 2 year MBA, and there is only a few colleges like Great Lakes that have really good 1 year. Great Lakes, ISB is our top league one, which has 1 year course, right? So but majority of them, in 98% of them, have 2 year MBA, flagship MBA program. That is the MBA that you're aiming for. Then there are all these colleges also have executive MBA, but you are planning to do a full time 2 year MBA, right? And this fee can go from 2.3 lakhs for 2 years to 30 lakh, right? 2.3 lakhs in Rainbow. There is one college called FMS Delhi. If you have done a little bit of research about your CAT and MBA, you would have heard this name, FMS. It is in Delhi, and they charge only 2.3 lakh for 2 years, but their average placement is around 30 lakhs. It is at par with IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, IIM Calcutta, right? It is competing with them. So, but when you do it from an IAM, like say top 6 IAMs, the fees is going to be around 25 to 30 lakh. അപ്പോൾ അതാണ് fees for 2 years. But don't worry, you'll get a student loan. You can avail student loan at a very low interest rate, because when you do from these colleges, even banks are also happy to give you loan, right? And the average package in these top 40 colleges ranges, average package, that is, I'm not even talking about the top package, I'm talking about average package, ranges from 15 to 30 LPA. That is roughly 1 to 1.5 lakh to 2 lakhs per month in hand, right? So this is going to be your ultimate goal. So that is the end of this roadmap, right? That is why I wanted to start this with the end, because you should have that clarity in mind. Your aim is not CAT, your aim is MBA, right? Your aim is to get into these 40 colleges. That is going to be the aim. And for that, the starting point is CAT preparation, right? That is where you are starting right now. You are starting the first stage of this roadmap, CAT preparation. അപ്പോൾ ഈ CAT preparationൽ main part ആയിട്ട് വരുന്ന is not there is no theory, there is nothing, there is no, it's not rocket science. It is very basic concepts. Basic concept ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു major part of quantity aptitude section in CAT is arithmetic, which, and within that the major part is speed distance time. Speed distance time is ഒരു ടോപ്പിക് വിച്ച് യു സീ ഇൻ യുവർ ഡേ ടു ഡേ ലൈഫ്. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മളിപ്പോ വണ്ടി ഓടിക്കുമ്പോൾ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ വേറെ ആളുടെ വണ്ടിയിൽ ഇരിക്കുമ്പോൾ നമ്മളൊന്ന് പറയില്ല, ഒന്ന് സ്പീഡ് ഒന്ന് കൂട്ടിയാൽ പെട്ടെന്ന് എത്തും എന്നൊക്കെ. അപ്പൊ ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ദ ബേസിക് തിങ്. യു നോ ദാറ്റ് വൺസ് സ്പീഡ് ഇൻക്രീസസ്, ടൈം ഗോസ് ഡൗൺ, ടൈം ടു ട്രാവൽ, ടൈം ഫോർ ട്രാവലിംഗ് ഗോസ് ഡൗൺ, റൈറ്റ്? That is all. That is the kind of understanding level that you need. And once you have this understanding, you should learn to apply those concepts, apply those understandings to solve questions. That is one part. And the second part of CAT is the exam strategy, because you might know everything, but you might not know to give the exam in that 2 hour duration, right? So that strategy is very important. That is the thing that we are going to train. So what we are going to do here is, first 6 months, 5 to 6 months of our course here, every Sunday we are going to learn concepts, we are going to practice questions, we are going to learn a lot. But the last 2-3 months is the most crucial one, where we are going to build that strategy for your exam, and that is the one that is going to take you. So concept understanding can easily take you till 85%. Just knowing basic concepts and understanding them without any strategy, you simply go wake up one morning and go give, you know, the concepts, you can score 85% comfortably, or even 90%. But beyond that, if you want to go, you should have a strategy. And that is the thing that I learned from my journey in CAT 2019 and CAT 2020. With good, strong understanding, I was able to go from 84 to 96. But 96 to 99 journey was only because of strategy, nothing else. There was nothing, I didn't learn anything new that time. It was only building strategy about how am I going to attempt, how am I going to pick questions, how am I going to solve them in the shortest time, right? So that is the first part of this one. Then you are going to give exam. That is CAT exam is generally on last Sunday of November. So the last year it was on November 24th. So that is when you are going to give your exam. So the 2 hours of that exam of last the 2 hours of last Sunday of November is going to decide your next journey throughout, right? And this 2 hours can be very it can be kind to you, it can also be very harsh to you. When I say harsh, you might prepare for 1 year, you might put your all effort for 1 year, but probably those 2 hours you might not be able to deliver, right? You might know everything, but 2 hours, maybe because of exam pressure, maybe because of some tension, panic, or something, you might not be able to give. So there is some slight amount of luck also involved. Not slight, I would say around 20% of luck also involved in this exam. But the remaining 80% is what is in your hand. That is your controllable part, right? And that is going to determine how your roadmap is going to look like after that. So after that, in January, around mid December to Jan, you're going to get your CAT score. So based on CAT score, what happens is all the colleges that you apply is going to prepare something called cumulative score, and this cumulative score consists of is it would be out of 100 marks, and that is going to consist of CAT score, 10 standard score, 12 standard score, graduation score, gender diversity, and academic diversity. Each college has different weightage. For example, IM Calcutta gives 60% weightage for CAT score, 5% for 10th, 5% for 12th, 5% for graduation, and all the other stuff. And it keeps varying. This percentage keeps varying, but majority it is always CAT score at this point. 5 to 10% weightage for 10th, 5 to 10% weightage for 12th, 5 to 10% weightage for graduation. WorkX, also I have missed WorkX. WorkX is also there. Then there is gender diversity and academic diversity. So what happens is your MBA, top MBA colleges or MBA ecosystem, they have observed that it is flooded by engineers, because engineers generally there are that many number of engineers in this country. Appa MBA colleges, what they want, as I told you, MBA learning is majorly diverse learning. So they want the diversity. They want to maintain the diversity. They don't want the whole batch to be filled with engineers. So what they do is they encourage non-engineers by giving some amount of academic diversity mark. And also they find that male are dominating in this corporate. They have been there, I mean, that is how India has been. But now they are encouraging women to also participate, to come up in the corporate ladder. They want women also to be in the decision making roles. That is why they are encouraging women to do MBA. That is why women get a extra gender diversity score. So if you are a woman from a non-engineering background, you are the most favored one, right? So you already have 10 marks there out of 100. And having said that, it's not that it is going to be extremely easy. You get those 10 marks, but you're also competing with the lakhs of other students. So you should also score better in CAT, but you don't have to score as much as the non-favored ones. But if you are a male from BTech like me, then you are the most unfavored one. But having said that, there is nothing you can do. It is not in your hand. The only thing that is in your hand right now is a CAT score, right? So if you are from the unfavored category, and those unfortunately they are called GEM. The naming comes as GEM, called General Engineering Male. When anybody outside this ecosystem hears GEM, they hear it as something really good. But GEM is the most least favored category here. So general engineering male, so you don't get those 10 marks, 10 marks there for academic diversity and gender diversity. But what is in your control is CAT score. So your goal has to be to maximize your CAT score, and you can cover that up. You can cover the 10 marks that you lose by performing extremely well in CAT. That is why I was saying, for a general engineering male, getting 99 percentile is also not enough for IIM ABC. You need at least 99.5 plus to get IIM ABC calls, right? So cumulative score would be prepared among all the colleges that you apply, and they will filter out the top certain number of students for the next round, that is GDPA, which is group discussion and personal interview. So let's say the college has 300 seats, they would filter out, they would call 3,000 people. Generally the ratio is 1 is to 10 to 1 is to 15. So they will call 3,000 to 4,500 people for GDPA if they have 300 batch strength. So GDPI is group discussion, personal interview, where a group discussion is where you sit with another 8 to 10 other candidates and you discuss on a topic. You give your opinions. You understand the other person's opinion, everybody else's opinion, and you accordingly you come to a conclusion. That is the goal of group discussion. That is, the group has to come to a conclusion. Generally that doesn't happen. Everybody would be fighting there. But the other part, which is person interview, is where you go sit and there'll be a panel of 3 to 4 people or 2 to 3 people who try to ask you questions about yourself, about life, or about the topic, the subject that you have studied. Try to understand if you are a genuine candidate, if you are interested, if you have that caliber, if you have that in you to become a good manager, a good leader. So they all the MBA colleges are wanting to make students business leaders. So they see if you can be a good business leader. That is the GDPI process. And based on your GDPA performance, your CAT score, and every other factor that is mentioned there, the admission offers will be rolled out. So another cumulative score, similar cumulative score will be prepared after GDPA, including your GDPA score. And from there, the top ones start getting calls. That is, if the college has 300 students, they start calling 300, the next 300 in waiting list, and that's how it goes until they fill their this one to start their MBA program, which is going to be your end. The one that you see going to college is your end, right? So this is the roadmap. So I wanted you guys to know that your goal is not CAT, your goal is MBA. That is a final goal. Entering this college is your final goal. അതല്ലേ അപ്പൊ അതിന്റെ ഇപ്പൊ വാട്ട് യു ക്യാൻ ഡു, ഇപ്പൊ ഈ ഒരു ഹോൾ റോഡ് മാപ്പ് നോക്കുവാണെങ്കിൽ, വൺ, യു ക്യാൻ പ്രിപ്പയർ റിയലി വെൽ ഫോർ CAT exam is something in your hand now. Second thing is GDPI is the one that's in your hand. 10 standard score, 12 standard score, graduation, gender diversity or academic diversity, you can't do anything about it now. What's happened is happened. 10th, 12th, whatever has happened is happened. If you have a good score, it is great. But having said that, if you don't have a good score, also you can match it, you can catch it, you can fill that using your CAT score and GDPA performance. So to enter this college, you're for the next 1 year, next 10 months later, you're going to attend CAT. Almost 1 month, 1 year later, you're going to give GDPA. Next February, March, you're going to give GDPA. So your goal has to be to prepare yourself for CAT as well as GDPA. Usually candidates ചെയ്യുന്ന mistake ആദ്യം തന്നെ full focus CAT-ലായിരിക്കും. CAT crack ചെയ്യാന്ന് വെച്ചു. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് you have only 1 or 2 months to prepare for GDPA. But GDPA is not something that you can prepare just you can one day you can sit and read all of it and you can't prepare. GDPA is a soft skill, right? It is a communication skill that comes out in GD. You are how good listener you are, how good speaker you are, how well you are able to articulate your point, how well you are able to rationalize your thought process. This is what is tested throughout your GDPA. അപ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ ഫസ്റ്റ് സ്റ്റെപ്പ് is be active communicator. അപ്പോൾ അതിന്റെ ഇപ്പോൾ what you can do is talk, like participate in class, break that, have that ice breaking, like in the sense we always have, all of us, it depends from our school exposure, but most of us, we have this hesitation to speak in front of a crowd, hesitation to speak in front of people. That is the first thing that you should break. And then the first step is participating in class. At least start with this class now, our classes here. Be active listener. It doesn't matter what language you speak, it doesn't matter whether you're good at English, you're bad at English, it doesn't matter. Your thought process, how well you communicate, is what matters there. And അതിന്റെ കൂടെ തന്നെ start reading about stuffs. You don't have to read a lot, but you can read about what is happening in the world now, about business and all of it. One thing I suggest, if you guys, you can note it down as well, subscribe to this newsletter called FinShots. There is IIM Ahmedabad's one article that comes out. It's a club from IIM Ahmedabad, which is also sponsored by many other people. So they send one article every day, and it is free. It is absolutely free. You just have to go FinShots, FINSHOTS. Just note it down. Today, just go to FinShot, just Google FinShots, you open them, and you can also give your mail ID there for free. They are going to send one article every day, and the past articles are already there on FinShots. It is a very short read. It is hardly 2 to 5 minute read. Just start reading that so that you develop that. This reading is going to help you in VARC as well, in VARC section, and you are going to develop the understanding about the world around you, the current affairs, what is happening around, and your language is also going to improve. You can perform better in GDPA.